Oh, okay, they're telling me in the Discord that I'm live. I didn't hear anything from anyone telling me that. So sorry if there was dead air for a few minutes. Hi everybody, welcome to Astro's Playroom. This is the pack-in game with the PS5 console, so hopefully anyone who's wanting a PS5 is closing in on one. Whenever you do, you'll get to play this wonderful little game. Time starts as soon as I hit the X button here, so 3, 2, 1, go. The first thing that happens is a little controller tutorial, which is on its own kind of interesting. Definitely a bit of a sci-fi theme behind this game. So we're flying through space until we come up on the DualSense controller. Shows you some of the lovely things it can do. Vibration, obviously the controller in my hands vibrating, the adaptive triggers, the touchpad, the motion sensor, and the microphone. Yes, you have to blow on the microphone, so pro tip, don't borrow a friend's PS5 controller, unless you disinfect it first. You may have also noticed that I muted the mic on the controller after doing that. That is because, aside from that very first time, every other time that you have to blow on the controller, if you have it muted, the game will do it automatically. It's, possibly a little bit faster and certainly more sanitary, and lets me continue talking while that input would be happening. So we're in this big, dark area that is going to become CPU Plaza. We hit these buttons. Charge punch to break this glass. Pull the wires. Pulling wires is something we will do a lot of. Put out to the PS5 home screen and reload the game. Coming from PS4, it's a little... I don't know why they did this, but going to the home screen is a long press of the PlayStation button, and bringing up the menu is a short press. It is exactly the opposite on PS4, so it takes a little getting used to. So this is CPU Plaza. That fellow's name is Chip. He's enjoying some PS Vita action. So the routing for this game relies on a little bit of chicanery in how the PS5 works. The first thing we're going to do is enter each level, and then go right back to CPU Plaza. Yeah, I did notice that in the schedule that we had a little PS5 block happening here, and I think that's pretty cool. Probably one of the first events that's been able to do that. I'm thrilled to be a part of that, just as I'm thrilled as always to do a run for Midwest Speed Fest. I've said it before, it's worth repeating, you guys are some of my favorite humans. So we go in each of these 3 levels to unlock them on the map. There's no rule about what order you have to do the levels in, and you could do them in a different order just to put the more difficult tricks at the beginning. I like to do them PS 1, 2, 3, 4 in sequence. You know, each level there's a major artifact at the end, which is one of the PlayStation consoles. This one ends with the PS1. So we did a little skip first there by crossing a jump that we weren't supposed to cross without a rope. This cloud has collisions, we can jump off of it. And a lot of the skips in this game involve let's see if I get this first. Awesome. Don't always get that, so that's good to get. It involve I just call it sprint speed. You know, and I don't really think everything has to have a, you know, quote-unquote name. But if Astro runs forward for like 3 to 5 seconds, something like that, I'm not entirely sure, he starts running much faster. And a lot of the skips in this game are dependent on that, and also, you just want to run faster. So I just tend to call it sprint speed. I've seen people call it P-speed, like you would in a Mario game. That's kind of the same idea. And you'll see that, except in a few places, I never really idle. I'm always moving because you have to keep moving to maintain your sprint speed. Each level has 4 zones in it, and in the 2nd and 4th of each zones, we're coming up on the 2nd zone of Memory Meadow, you get a power suit. And the power suit for Memory Meadow is the pinball suit. So we pull these wires, climb into the pinball suit, use the touchpad to zip ourselves up, and we're off and rolling. We also use the touchpad to move while in the pinball suit. I use both thumbs. I'm not sure it's faster or anything. I'm just used to doing it that way. You see those puzzle pieces here and there. Those, along with the artifacts, are the collectibles for this game. This game is, you know, a very healthy, full-fledged platformer in its own right. It's far from just a tech demo, like I say. But since this is any %, we're going to skip most of the puzzle pieces. A few of them are so right along the way that I won't skip them. I usually end up with 2 or 3, sometimes 4. And here we'll have an example of the game doing a blow input for me since I muted the mic. You're supposed to blow again here, but I'm obviously not blowing, I'm talking, and the game does it for us. I don't know who figured that out, but I'm quite glad they did. Just a lot of cycle-based platforming in ELECTROCLOUD. And here's an example of me trying to keep my sprint speed. I'm not stopping moving while on this moving platform. Here's one of the puzzle pieces that you can skip it, but it kind of takes more effort to skip it than to not skip it, so what the heck, we'll grab it. By having sprint speed, you can jump forward and get off the moving platform just a little bit early. Not the perfect cycle there, but good enough. And there's a cycle skip here that I'm not very good at, so I'm not going to try it. Marathon safety, let's call it. Getting the big coin here. It's the giant robot to take us up here. Yeah, you may notice that there are some references to other PlayStation games throughout the game world of this, of Astro's Playroom. They're games that are or were PlayStation exclusives, and I've thought about doing, you know, if I run this at, you know, other events or even this one, doing some kind of incentive where, okay, chat, how many can you see? And I'll give, you know, $1 or $5 or something for each one, but I feel like that would just have people rattling off every PlayStation game they can think of. So I've never quite refined it, but I don't know, play along, see how many you can see. Yeah, I love the OST for this game. I believe it won some industry awards. So here's the major artifact at the end of the level. Never really had a PS1 myself, but I knew some people growing up who did. Here, oh, I didn't quite do this right, but it's okay. This is what I'm talking about, chicanery with how the PS5 works. By pulling up the activities menu, you can warp to another area, and then once you're in that area, you pull up the map. And the map lets you warp to one of the levels we unlocked at the very beginning. If you did not do it that way, you would have to go back to PlayStation LABO, which is this, like, PlayStation museum. It looks really cool when you've collected everything. And there's a lot of cutscenes you would have to mash through. So you skip those from spawning entirely. Interestingly enough, the game still knows to spawn them the next time you ever do go back to PlayStation LABO. So at the end of the run, and it's really cool in the 17 Crowns run, where you get all of the collectibles in the levels and most of the puzzle pieces, where it spawns just like everything all one after another. Little intended skip there, taking the glider up to here. Okay, that spitter did not listen to me hitting it in the face, so we get to do this again. That's unfortunate. Yeah, I meant to mention that Astro's sprint speed is retained anytime you go through a power suit, but it is not retained when you use the glider. So, and the glider only appears in this zone, so no worries about keeping sprint speed here. Yeah, by skipping up to here instead of going to the platform down below, you do skip a checkpoint, so dying there is a little bit costly, but what the heck, it's a marathon run. Stuff is gonna happen. Get off the glider here and pull this backwards. You can see we're walking on air for a moment there. The bridge has some collision before it actually spawns in, but only if you're pulling the wires. Yeah, I never actually played Spyro or Crash myself. I bought the recent remakes of both. Haven't really dived into them too much. There's a skip here involving jumping up the portholes of the rocket. It is okay, let's do this right. It is really intricate and precise. I've only even tried it a few times. I've never gotten it. World record holder Exilius, I'm not sure I'm pronouncing that right, but he can do it like it's nothing. It's really impressive. Here's the power suit for SSD Speedway. Little rocket ship. You control movement by physically moving the DualSense controller. You control propulsion with the L2 and R2 buttons. You control the thrusters under the whole rocket ship. Alright. We're coming up on probably the flashiest skip in the game. You're supposed to get a minigun and blast your way through this level. This area of the level is full of enemies. That's the first part of it. But by having sprint speed and knowing exactly where you're jumping, nice first try. You can get past it without the minigun. And getting the minigun is really slow. Nice, I am super stoked I got that first try. It's not that hard, but it's certainly not unheard of to miss it either.
Just quickly, have you got time to read one donation?
Hey, I can hear somebody now. I didn't hear you earlier if you threw it to me. Yes, go ahead.
No worries, it was just then, so all good. Anyway, so we have $15 coming in from an anonymous donor who says, bring someone a little joy. And they put something towards the Lost Kingdoms deck name Bid War, so the name they put in is Vinny Viddy, so it appears that is in the lead right now, so thank you very much for your kind donation. And yeah, that's all the donations I have right now, so if you'd like to hear something read on stream, as long as the comment is safe for work, PG-13, I will read it on stream, so feel free to get your donations in.
I mean, we don't work blue at 3 o'clock in the morning, come on. See if this kills me. It did during practice. No! Awesome! Alright, we have a little mini-boss here. I guess you would call it maybe even a full boss, because it's the end of the level. Oh, I screwed up. I forgot to bait out the shot on this side. That's a nasty mistake. I was so fixated on coming back to this. I have to do an extra cycle. It's not as slow as dying, but it is still pretty dumb. Lit fuse there. This thing knocks us out of the little shaft leading up to the PS2. Definitely had a PS2 when it came out, and I actually own two of them now, an American PS2 and a Japanese one. So I know the exact timing to warp away when the game has granted us the artifact, so I can do that and head on to Cooling Springs. Yeah, each of the levels is kind of named after a little feature that the PS5 has. Cooling Springs Bot Beach is really kind of ridiculously trivial in any percent because all the collectibles are scattered around the beach, and you just don't get any of them. You just run straight through. There's a tiny little skip there. You're supposed to, as you come off the slide, sink beneath the water and like start to swim a little bit. But by doing a charged punch during the slide and releasing it just as we hit the water, it cancels the animation. We can just jump across the water to, yeah, reach the beach. Yeah, I don't know that everybody in chat is interested in getting a PS5, but for those who are, I hope you enjoy this game as much as I do, and I certainly hope you'll give it a playthrough, because why wouldn't you? It's free. Some people have said it comes pre-installed on the PS5. I had to download it on mine, so I don't know about that. But it is free, and I'm pretty sure it always will be. Frankly, I'd have been happy paying $10 for this game. I would love some kind of like a sequel with an actual story and maybe even voice acting. Not perfect, but good enough to get the little cycle skip there with the platforms. Yeah, the springy power suit is probably the hardest one to be precise with. The whole idea behind it is to bunny hop. You charge your next spring as you're in the air for the previous one. Here's my evidence for why this is more than, quote, just a tech demo, unquote, and is really an awesome game in its own right. You know, I'm half kidding, half serious here, but this is a platformer. You know, requisite ice physics level, of course, but the ice physics are fun. How many platformers have fun ice physics? Like what? Like, is that even allowed? See how I'm zooming through this level? It's so good! I usually actually grab that puzzle piece. There's no need to, but I guess fell off a spot I usually manage to jump. You can jump off these flows way earlier than the game wants you to. Even that was slightly late. Right? What has fun ice physics? Certainly no platformer I've ever played. Now this spot right here is the spot of my worst mistake in my current PB. My current PB is a run that should not still be my current PB. It's 27:48. And on this little section, I jumped straight in the water because I don't know. I don't even know why. Every death is slow, but it's extra slow when you're... Come on. When you're in a power suit. Because Astro has to respawn in the power suit. And, like, do a little spin and his cute little wave and whatever. It's lovely, but it takes forever. That little swinging vine thing is scripted to always meet you at exactly the same time. The first time... Okay. Man. The first time you, see how long it takes to reset when you're in the springy suit? It's scripted to meet you the first time come up. I really want to know what the guy with the golden scissors in the background there is a reference to. And you can tell when something is meant as a reference. It's whenever there's a cameraman. Whatever the camera is pointed at is a reference. And he has a camera pointed at him, so... I don't know. Now, I certainly had lots of PS3s, but I never had a fatty fat PS3, so... This sadly also means not as much to me, but... The slimline and super slim models are in the game as optional artifacts. CPU jungle now? And the power suit for this level, it might knock your socks off if you've never seen it before. I assure you I am very mediocre at it, but it is pretty, excuse me, pretty awesome to see. So just keep that in mind for about a minute from now when we get in the monkey suit. Here, I think you're supposed to run in, trigger this, and run out, but if you hug the left wall, you can just run through it. Alright, monkey suit. Get ready for some climbing. Nah, that's not knocking anybody's socks off. That's a little more like it. There we go. By bonking on the left side there, we grab the top portion just a little bit faster. And this spot right here is a spot where the world record holder for this game, I'm not quite sure how to pronounce his name, but Exilius? I don't know. In Discord, his name is Artemis, so I don't know if that's a version of that. But he does a pathing here that I've been able to do it once. And he claims it saves 6 seconds. It seems to me it's more like 2 or 3. It's very hard, very risky. But it looks really cool when it goes right. Anyway, bow and arrow. We blow these dynamite things up. Whenever that bridge falls, it always reminds me of, I love to watch Dark Souls speedruns on Twitch. It always reminds me of Dark Souls 2. There's an area in that game where, you're waiting for a bridge to fall, and in that game you can jump through the bridge because it doesn't have collision until it hits its final set point. This game, it does have collision the whole time. If you try to jump through it like that, you will bonk and die.
Have we got time for one quick donation?
Sure.
Not a problem. So we have $10 coming in from Sandshark, who says, "So pumped for another awesome Midwest Speedfest event. Thank you to everyone for all their hard work, and I'm looking forward to seeing everyone's incredible speedruns. Stay fast and keep being awesome." Thank you, Sandshark. Very kind of you.
Yeah, this game sort of does the Crash Bandicoot one-hit death thing, but it would be trivial if it didn't. Wait for that vine to go away and then try to go fast, because if you try to go fast when the vine is still there, you can end up grabbing it and have to do an entirely extra cycle. This little move right here is something I found during my casual playthrough. The runners of the game already knew about it, but I felt smart for finding it on my own. Much better second climbing than first. This first wasn't terrible, but second was much better. Yeah, I really wanted a PS5, so I camped outside GameStop for 36 hours when they were selling them on Black Friday last year. There's the PS4. We warp away. This one's a little bit different. What we have to do is warp back to CPU Plaza. I did not have attendance. Lucky that the weather wasn't really an issue. We warp away with the activities menu, because if we had stayed there in CPU Plaza, a whole bunch of cutscenes would have played. Basically, the cutscenes that would have played after every level. Warp away with the activities menu, warp back with the map, and now it'll just say, go check the basement, something's making noise. Yep. No, everything's good, and we're off to the 1994 throwback. Yeah, and everybody there was super chill, too. I'm kind of worried about, like, getting beat up or something, but that never happened. Now, we didn't know how many PS5s and Series X's the store had. Turned out that they had 2 PS5s, and I was second in line, so yes. They had 6 Series X's. I think I'd like to get one of those too eventually, but no hurry on that one. Alright, final boss time. Yeah, I had a chair with me and a blanket, but it wasn't really comfortable enough to sleep. Not, you know, a full good sleep anyway. I did doze off a few times. So I didn't really recognize this as being a part of PlayStation history, but this T-Rex is from the original tech demo of the PS1. spitting image. You know, the videos on YouTube of the original tech demo just kind of meant to show, oh, what the amazing new generation PlayStation can do. I did see a YouTube video of it, and someone in the comments was like, I thought video games would never get better than this, so... You always want to dodge these bites to the left. That will make you do the minimum number of cycles necessary to do this attack, where he becomes vulnerable. Kick him in the eye. Astro's gonna do a little dance because he thinks he's won, but hello, you haven't won yet. First playthrough, I was so scared that this fight would have 5 phases because PS5. It actually only has 2. So you see those hearts trailing behind us. We are actually allowed to take damage at this point, and we're going to deboost through the boss's most time-consuming attack, which is the missile attack. I'll do it again. I tried practicing this earlier tonight by not doing that, by quote-unquote playing it safe, and the boss killed me. So I think I need to do it the way I know to do it. PS3 discs here, and then more missiles. Yep, we're out of here. This is the one part of the boss that is kind of scary. Because you got all these little droids after you, and if they extend their spikes, that's not good. Okay. Cleared them all. I did lose a PB for that once. Throw the trophy at him, do a spin punch. Get ready on time. Very safe. Run around with the lasers. Throw the platinum trophy at his eye. Another spin punch. Alright, time is once the tongue slaps him in the face, and I'll call it. Time. Alright, so that was Astro's Playroom. Not too bad. Couple of little boo-boos in that run, but not too bad at all. And I just want to show one thing real quick. I know we're a little behind, so I won't take too much time, but... Oh, I went to the wrong place. I meant to go here. Just to show, and I think it's really cool that the game does it this way. These are the little cutscenes that would play after each level clear. Just one after another, and it sort of looks extra cool when they play one after another. I love that the game knows to still play them like this when you skip where they would come up naturally, and it's even better in the 17 Crowns run because all the other artifacts would spawn in as well. And if I had gone through the credit sequence, that is truly where time ends for any percent. If I had gone through the credit sequence, there's a little platforming bit after, no combat, no risk, where you would pick up the PS5 and a couple of other artifacts, and they would be on this pedestal here. But I know that we've got to keep the marathon going, so see if Astro will wave bye-bye.